All right, thank you, Matt. Yes, let's go to the guy, of course, who made the breaking news. That is our very own Adam Schefter. Again, Mike Tomlin walking away from the job that he's held there in Pittsburgh for 19 seasons. Okay, Schefty, talk to everybody about how this played out today. Mike Tomlin walking away. Was this mutual? Was this Mike Tomlin's decision? Was this the Steelers saying, okay, let's part ways?
Brian, this is a Mike Tomlin decision, and this clearly is something that has been on his mind for quite some time. There were people I've spoken with who were with him over the summer who sensed that it was going to be his last season. It built up. You don't lose the game last night, call a team meeting for 2 o'clock to inform your team that you're stepping down as the Steelers head coach without being fully convicted on this. This is a historic day for the Pittsburgh Steelers, for Mike Tomlin, the longest tenured head coach in the National Football League. And this is something that he clearly had been thinking about and had come to the decision to make today or as soon as the Steelers season ended, which just happened to be last night. We heard the Fire Tomlin chants earlier in the season from Steelers fans. We heard them again last night after they lost to the Houston Texans, and this has been an off-season of change. Mike Tomlin is essentially coveted everywhere, except in the city where he was working for 19 years. And the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have very many head coaching changes. They are about to embark on a search for their 4th head coach since 1969. That's routine for some teams to do in a couple of years. And the Pittsburgh Steelers now will be going on their 4th head coach since 1969. I think it was everything. I think it was the time there in Pittsburgh. I think it was Mike Tomlin wanting his life back, wanting to try something different, wanting to get away. If you watched him during the season, he looked tired. He looked worn out. And obviously, all that work had taken a toll on him to the point where at 2 o'clock today, he gathered his team together and he informed his players that he was stepping down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, effective immediately. And that sends ripples across the National Football League for so many reasons. Like we said, the Pittsburgh Steelers now have a head coaching opening. There are nine current head coach openings right now, including 3 in the AFC North. The only returning coach in the AFC North right now is Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. Andy Reid just became the longest tenured head coach in the National Football League, with the Ravens firing John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin stepping aside. And that's the key distinction here. He stepped down. The Steelers retain his rights. Should he decide to return to coaching another time, then if there were another team that wanted to hire him, they would have to compensate the Pittsburgh Steelers the way the Denver Broncos had to compensate the New Orleans Saints for Sean Payton. But you're talking about a coaching legend. You're talking about coaching royalty. You're talking about a man who coached in that city for 19 seasons, never had a losing season. And yes, there were playoff struggles, there were one and dones, but nobody can argue the impact and imprint that Mike Tomlin made on the Pittsburgh Steelers and the National Football League, and that run today, historically, has come to an end.
And again, that is our breaking news here in the Sports Center. Of course, Adam Schefter is the man who helped break this, along with Jeremy Fowler. Mike Tomlin stepping away as head coach of the Steelers. 193 career victories, 8 playoff wins, 1 Super Bowl victory. It begs the question, in your reporting there, Adam, do you get a sense that Mike Tomlin wants to step away? There have been rumors about maybe a TV job, or does he want to continue coaching?
Mm-hmm. Look, we'll hear from Mike Tomlin at some point in time, but my sense is that he's going to go into television, that there'll be any number of opportunities that await him. Now, he could decide to do TV, which is what Sean Payton did during the year that he was out. It keeps people involved in the game without having to work coaches' hours, or he simply could just take the year off. That's something that's also entirely possible. His children have grown. They're out of the house. He has nothing that ties him to Pittsburgh. He has earned the right to get to do what he wants to do at this point in time, whether that's take a year off before he comes back to coaching, whether that's to go into television and move forward in a career in TV. moving forward into the years to come, this is all new. This is something that obviously just happened a short time ago when he informed the team. Mike Tomlin is going to be desired in any number of places. He could have a coaching job tomorrow if that's what he wanted. I don't sense that that's what he's going to want at this particular time. It sounds like he's going to want some time to decompress after a long, hard 19-year run that included a Super Bowl title in Pittsburgh, and he'll have time to think about what he wants to do next and with the rest of his life.
And obviously, this is a story that's just been breaking here over the past hour here, Adam. But it begs the question, since you made the point, the Steelers have only had 3 coaches since 1969. And when they made those hires, they were all young guys. So are we talking about now the Pittsburgh Steelers looking for a young head coach here going forward?
I will say this, that I'm not sure the Pittsburgh Steelers have had any idea that this was going to come. There were people in that organization that when we spoke to them today with the news, Jeremy Fowler and I had no idea it was coming. No idea it was coming. So this caught a lot of people by surprise. On the one hand, you would think that people kind of expected it and maybe they knew it could happen, but it's a little bit like John Harbaugh in Baltimore. You hear that it could happen. There has been any number of questions about it. There's been speculation about it. But when it finally actually happens, it's sudden, abrupt, and jarring. And today, the Steelers organization was hit with the jarring news that the man who had coached them and led them for 19 years is leaving the organization, stepping down. So when you're asking what they're doing next, frankly, I don't know that they know what they're doing next. We can look at the body of coaches being interviewed across the league. We can look at what the Steelers' history has been and the type of coach that they've profiled. We expect it to be tough, fiery, competitive. It's a great job. It's a job that doesn't turn over very often. But the Pittsburgh Steelers did not know that they would be looking for a head coach until a short time ago today when Mike Tomlin informed Art Rooney and then the team that he was stepping down as the head coach of the Steelers, a job that he's had for the last 19 years.
You made the point that there are now 9 head coaching opportunities open right now in the National Football League. So when you look at it, a couple of them are cornerstones of this league. The Pittsburgh Steelers job is open. The New York Football Giants job is open. What is the marquee job now? Is it Pittsburgh? Does that go up to be number 1 on the list?
You didn't mention the Baltimore Ravens either,
yes,
which I think people have viewed as the most desirable job. Look, there are 9 openings, and I will say, we don't know that we're done just yet. It might not be over. It could be. Hopefully it is, but it might not be over just yet. There still could be more changes because we're in a time now where owners see what other owners do. And once one of these goes down, it makes it a little bit easier for an owner who's on the fence to make up his own mind and make the decision. Now, this was a different situation today. This was a case where Mike Tomlin just had enough of coaching. Again, the fans sounded their disapproval, their displeasure about the way this team performed in recent weeks at home. Mike Tomlin heard that. You can't be immune to not hearing that. But this is a case where he stepped aside. Of the 9 current openings, he's the only one that voluntarily walked away from the job. The other 8 coaches were fired. They were let go. This is a different circumstance surrounding Mike Tomlin. And really, his accomplishments and everything that he did and the mark he made should be celebrated with everything that he's done. You look at the winning percentage of the Steelers there. You look at what he's done during his time in Pittsburgh. You look at all the accomplishments, 19 seasons, never had a losing season, 193, 114-2 in the regular season, Super Bowl champion. He essentially took the baton from Bill Cowher, the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, and advanced it and took this franchise to a place that it had been in. He kept it there. And again, despite the fact that there were fans in Pittsburgh who wanted him out, nobody could deny the mark that he made on that franchise and the National Football League. He is synonymous with that team. He is the face of that franchise, and the face of that franchise has now left that team. Change is coming to Pittsburgh. Change is coming to Baltimore. Change is coming to Cleveland. Change is coming to the National Football League. We are in a historic time with 9 openings and some changes with teams that don't ordinarily have them.
Yeah, especially in the AFC North, who basically got 3 teams looking for a new head coach. So this is a really fascinating story. Again, our Adam Schefter is the man who came up with the breaking news: Mike Tomlin stepping away as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Adam, appreciate it. Thank you very much.